Hello, FTM Transtastic, as my chair slowly spins to the right. So, we've done this week's topic before. It is New Year's resolutions, what we're going to accomplish in this new year. Probably the only resolution that I've ever made in my life that I've been able to fully keep 100% is that I have written the word Squiggle on every single person's timeline who I've added as a friend who I did not recognize, which is a incredible amount of people, really. And now that the year's ended, I'm not sure if I am supposed to keep writing Squiggle on people's timelines. I mean, at this point, pretty much everyone forgot that that was something that I was doing, so I'm writing Squiggle on their timeline, and they're just like, I don't get it. So if you think that I should continue doing that, by all means, tell me so. Otherwise, I might stop. So it was kind of disappointing to not have completed most of my resolutions, so I figured I'd give myself some easy ones this year. And since I've not been able to get a lot of sleep, you know, in the past 20 years of my life, spoiler alert, I'm 20 years old, because I'm allergic to basically everything, I decided for 2014 I'm going to stop being allergic to everything forever for the rest of my life. So I can only think of one thing that takes a significant amount of effort on my part that I want to achieve for sure in this next year. I want to be fluent in American Sign Language, and I'm not terrible at it now, clearly, but I want to be the very best, like no one ever was. That's the only part of that song that really applies to this at all. So, I went to a New Year's Eve party. This party was my brother's friends, and me and my brother are really close, so I hang out with most of his friends, and some of these people, there were probably like 30 to 40 people at this party. A lot of them I have not seen in years. A lot of them didn't even know me. A lot of them, I've basically grown up with them. They've seen me a million times from the point that I am now since the point where I was like 4. So there was a lot of variety of people, but one thing that was common among this entire group is that I'm pretty sure that none of them had even the slightest desire to touch somebody their own gender on the mouth with their mouth. So, you know, I was kind of alone in that respect. What I'm trying to say is that everybody was cis, everybody was straight, and of course I don't know the details on every single person there, but that is clearly the vibe that it was. I mean, I'm used to going to super queer parties. This was not one of those parties. I'm pretty sure that the majority of these people think that, like, queer people only come out during full moons to, like, terrorize the neighborhood. I don't know. There was no discomfort in this situation, and every time I'm in one of these settings, especially that time, it really makes me think about, you know, what really defines the line between, like, a good person and a bad person. Because it's really easy to say that somebody who uses derogatory slurs is homophobic, or racist, or transphobic, or sexist. It's really easy to say that somebody who occasionally says something that is objectifying a woman, that they're a womanizer, they're sexist, they're misogynistic, they're pigs. It's really easy to peg somebody with all of these characteristics just based on, you know, some pretty ignorant things that they say, and I'm definitely, anything like that is bad. I don't think that's a good person thing to do, but you can be a good person and you can be really ignorant at the same time. Well, I was talking about having a boyfriend all night. People knew that I was a transsexual, that people knew that all night. They knew it before I got there. They've known it for ages, and they treat me 100% like a normal person. And it's easy to reduce these people down to, you know, them being macho assholes or, you know, entirely wrapped up in stereotypes. If you really talk to them, they have some pretty strong opinions about, you know, how women are people too, and how it's okay to be gay, and that it's okay to be trans, and, you know, they have opinions about these that you wouldn't expect them to have. And I will never stand up for, derogatory speech and sexism and racism and homophobia and transphobia. Like, that's not something I'm advocating for, but they've never been told it was bad, they've never been told it was wrong or hurtful, and they just do it and they don't mean anything by it. And it's hard to wrap your mind around that sometimes, because to me, you know, it's so obvious that these things are just problems. Here's something that I've really learned in year 2013 that I would like to apply to my life in 2014 that I feel like will make a difference in how I interact with a lot of people. When I hear people say shitty stuff like that on the street and I don't know them, I have no desire to make friends with them, and that is something that I'm going to continue to do. Like, I don't need to start a relationship with somebody like that. And if they're in my life and I enjoy them in my life, I don't want to cut them out of my life because I think they're a bad person, because that might not be the case. And I don't want to cut people out of my life because they're ignorant. I want to cut people out of my life because they're assholes, and if they're not, then I don't want to do that. By all means, if somebody uses a word for a group of people that you think is completely wrong, slap them in the face and walk out and never look back. But that's just, it's something that I don't really want to do at this point. So, I'm still forming an opinion on this, but whatever. This had something to do with the new year. See you next Saturday.